The impact of animal agriculture on One Health, bacterial zoonosis, antimicrobial resistance, and beyond. Good day, ma'am. My name is Nastasha Kempen in this Yankees Group 19. The authors of my chosen text are Tengfei Zhang, Ria Nickerson, Wanting Zhang, Zetian Peng, Yu Shang, Yuxian Zhu, Qingping Lu, Guayung Wen, Zhengyu Cheng. The statement of my field of study is that I am studying zoology at the University of Pretoria. The zoology course that I am taking is for 3 years, and then I want to do my master's degree in marine biology. The text that I chose for my presentation is Agricultural and Animal Sciences, the impact of animal agriculture on One Health, bacterial zoonosis, antimicrobial resistance, and beyond. The text was published on the 8th of May 2024, and it is published on the Science Direct webpage, but it originates from the One Health journal. This journal article is relevant to the field that I am studying because it gives insight about how the modern animal agriculture affects the zoonotic infections, more explicitly those that originate from bacteria. Zoonotic diseases are diseases that can spread through animals to humans through animal bites, infected water, and infected food like meat. Parasites, fungi, and bacteria are what cause the bacterial zoonosis according to the Zoonotic Disease website. And that gives me more insight about what is going on in the field that I am studying. The text is about how the One Health initiative is emphasizing the interdependency of the health of animals, the ecosystem, and humans, and how acute the consequences of animal agriculture practices from a One Health point of view are. The main argument in this text is that the authors are arguing that the contemporary farming practices that is going on in modern day is increasing the risk of the bacterial zoonosis spread to humans, the natural environment, and animals. The currency of this source is credible because it is a recent journal article with 9 authors that helped with the writing of this article. The article is relevant because the information in the text responds to the topic and it would be comfortable citing the source. The authors in this article are qualified to writing on this topic because most of them are in the field of microbiology and immunology or agricultural sciences. The article is accurate because there are no spelling grammars and it gives the reader a lot of information and statistics. The information comes from a journal called One Health. The purpose of the information given is to inform the readers about the problem that is currently being faced, and the information given is a fact because the article gives the reader a lot of evidence through its charts and tables. In this article, the claims that the authors are making to support their main argument is that the impact of modern animal agriculture on One Health is significant because of the zoonotic infections affecting the natural environment and human health, and the associated exposure of antimicrobial resistance, in short, AMR. One of the main pieces of evidence about the zoonotic infections is that approximately 75% of illnesses that appear for the first time and 60% of all human microorganisms that cause diseases that are affecting humans are zoonotic, and it reckoned that 1 billion patients of zoonosis occur yearly. It is also shown that the transference through food products are one of the most significant transfers of diseases and infections to humans. The main piece of evidence about the natural environment and human health is that modern animal agriculture, like livestock, similar to sheep, swine, cattle, and poultry, are the main resources that carry pathogens that infect humans, like anthrax, blackleg, and gastroenteritis. Foul farming environments is also a way that infections and diseases can be transmitted to humans and animals. For instance, the soil that is contaminated with the pathogens of Bacillus, Anthracis, and Clostridium spp, which can be seen in Table 1 given in the article. There are also other pathways in which bacteria can be transferred from, for instance, the sharing of the same water sources, taint vomits, and the direct contact with infected animals during secretions. Antimicrobial resistance is an unavoidable consequence of antimicrobial use, but it also has led to the overuse and misuse of antimicrobials. During the years 2000 to 2018, a meta-analysis was taken on animals in developing countries, and it opened up that the percentage of antimicrobial resistance that are greater than 50% expanded in chickens from 15% to 41%, in swine from 13% to 34%, and in cattle it expanded from 12% to 23%. In agriculture, AMR that is increasing is anticipated to result in an intercontinental decrease in livestock production between 2.6% and 7.5% yearly, and that would have a serious aftermath for food security. The authors combined data and reasoning about zoonotic infections by providing the reader with a table of contents that includes the animal agriculture associated bacterial zoonotic diseases and how the diseases can be transferred from animals to humans or vice versa. Since about 1 billion people are affected with zoonosis yearly, it is true that about 75% of illnesses that appear and 60% of all human microorganisms that cause diseases are zoonotic. Through the Table 1 given to us in the article, we can see that the transfer of food products are the most significant diseases and infection transfers to humans. This is the table given to us in the article. The authors combined data and reasoning for the natural environment and human health by providing the reader with a figure that indicates the pathways of common transfers of bacterial zoonosis in animals, agriculture, which indicates routes of bacterial conveyance between the three groups that are humans, the environment, and agricultural animals. The routes indicate to the reader that bacterial zoonosis can be transferred to humans directly from agricultural animals, but also secondarily through environmental routes from animal agriculture. It is clear to me that livestock are the main sources that carry pathogens that infect humans and also the revolting environments that can also transfer diseases to animals and humans, shown to the reader through Figure 1 in the article. Figure 1. The authors combined data and reasoning about the associated exposure of antimicrobial resistance through providing the readers with a table that includes information about the most frequent used antimicrobials in animal agriculture and their resistance mechanisms, and its usage and specificity. It also indicates the hazards of zoonotic relevance. The readers are also provided with a figure indicating the roles of animal agriculture and the spread and growth of antimicrobial resistance. It also includes mechanisms that drive the spread of antimicrobial resistance and factors driving the growth of antimicrobial resistance in animal agriculture, with the routes of AMR spreading from animal agriculture to humans. With this information, it is clear to see the spread and growth of the antimicrobial resistance, which can then lead to the worldwide decrease in livestock production. Table 1, 2 and Figure 2. The main argument in this journal article is that the latest farming practices that is going on in the modern day is increasing the risk of the spread of bacterial zoonosis to humans, animals, and the natural environment. I support this argument because in the article Zoonosis in a Changing World, it states that the diversification of human encampment and agriculture discontinues an organism's environment. It then leads to the growth of ecotones, which according to Borderlands of Wonder, how ecotones support biodiversity and resilience. Ecotones are conversion areas where ecosystems, ecological communities, and biotic regions coexist, which can result in the intensifying pathogen exposure and the pathogens affecting and activating in a whole different environment. The article also states that not only humans can get infected, but animals as well. For example, the outcome of new zoonotic infections necessitating hominoids similar to monkey malaria is caused by deforestation. An intrusion into natural environments lead to the loss of biodiversity, but it can also establish diseases to wildlife that can pillage the wildlife population, that can produce reservoirs for the disease. It can then be transferred to its original domesticated animals, which could then enlarge the risk of humans being infected by zoonotics. According to the article, Climate Change and Zoonotic Disease Outbreaks, Emerging Evidence from Epidemiology and Toxicology, the Earth's distinctive climate has been transformed in the past decade, and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has surpassed the previous levels. The involvement of humans with Earth has led to the inexcusable trend in global warming and climate change. Global warming and geoclimatic changes has led to the determination of zoonotic diseases, which is enlarging its epidemiological limits, and it can then lead to deaths and illnesses from persistent extreme weather events that are increasing, according to the website Climate Change. As can be observed in the articles listed, it is clear that the modern farming practices that is going on in modern day is increasing the spread of bacterial zoonosis to the natural environment, humans, and animals. In this discussion, we can see that there is an effect on humans, animals, and the natural environment that is caused by modern animal agriculture and the zoonosis bacteria that is escalating on each of these three groups. We have learned that the zoonosis bacteria spreads mostly through the food we eat, especially meat, because some of the environments where the animals are kept are revolting, and so bacteria gets transferred. Organisms' environments also get ruined by the variety of human settlements, which then leads to ecotones. The risk of humans being infected is increasing because of the intrusion into the natural environment. It leads to the loss of the biodiversity that also establishes diseases in the wildlife. Geoclimatic changes and global warming has resulted in the increase of the zoonotic diseases. That is why I support the argument in the journal article. This article is significant to the field of zoology because it gives us more information about how microorganisms can have a bigger impact on animals and the environment. These are my referencing lists, ma'am. Thank you.